Hey people, this is the first Wi-Fi battle on this channel because I had another channel and that channel kind of died and I thought I'd just start a new one for a fresh start and all that good stuff. So he sends out, or he leads, I should say, with a Steelix and I lead with the Pert. So I use Earthquake because I just want to get damage and that's usually what I do. I'll usually attack first. And he actually goes for the Roar instead of the Rocks, which confused me, but then he said it was just a misclick and I'm like, oh, okay then. He then roars me out into this guy, which is alright, considering there's no rocks. If there was rocks, I'd be kind of pissed off, but there's no rocks out, so it's alright. Wow, I just repeated myself. Whatever. I then U-turn because it's better than switching, and it will do, like, no damage anyway. And then he rocks on the switch, which is good for him, I guess. And I switch into this Latias. I usually have a Sceptile, instead of this Latias, but at the moment I have the Latias because, I don't know. And I go for a Surf, which like decimates the Steelix because it's a Latias and that's a Steelix. He then goes into Twin Bums, which is like his Ambipom thing. And I was kind of fearing a Pursuit there because I think Ambipom can learn Pursuit, but yeah. Anyway, he actually just goes for the U-turn, which is kind of expected. But I go into Registeel because I know Registeel can take most things an Ambipom has, excluding Low Kick. That'd probably hurt a bit, but yeah. He then goes into a Loom, and I hate Looms so much. It's the most annoying thing ever. It's just So I know he's gonna Spore, and this is the best guy to actually take the Spore because he's got Sleep Talk, and it doesn't worry me if he's asleep because he's a rest talking thing. So yeah. I then switch into my Lynx effect because I know it totally walls Breloom unless it's got Facade, but I don't know why this would have Facade. If it did, I'd pretty much be screwed actually. But it didn't, thankfully. And then he tightens his focus like you do with Focus Punch. And I just break the sub. Not much to say on that. Breloom with Breloom without a sub isn't that dangerous, especially when you've got a sleep fodder already asleep. So he can't really do anything now, except if you really want to, you could probably set up a whole bunch of subs and just PP store me. But I'd probably win the PP war anyway, so it probably wouldn't matter. But he just does the smart play and just withdraws his Breloom because, yeah. I just go for another Flamethrower just to be sure because I don't want the Breloom to stay around for as long as possible. I want to get rid of it just as soon as possible. That didn't sound right, but either way. Yeah. Everyone always thinks Weezing's a physical Pokemon. It's really weird. But I go for the Will-O-Wisp to burn the Dusknoir, because I know Dusknoir is definitely physical. And Weezing's actually special, and he burns me too, which is kind of weird, because I don't even carry Explosion. So it's pretty pointless, except for the small amount of damage he gets off every turn. His Dusknoir is now ruined, because it can't do any damage with any attack, really. Well, yeah. He then goes into his Toad, and then I just like Thunderbolt because most things that will resist fire moves will take a decent chunk from Thunderbolt. Probably like excluding Heatran or something, but whatever. And Pert, but okay, let's not get into this. So I'm hurt by Burn and all his leftovers and stuff are going on. And then I switch back into my Latias because I know he'd carry Ice Beam, but he wouldn't use Ice Beam on this turn because it's not stab and stuff. So that does literally nothing. I don't even really care. And then he withdraws his Politoed, and I knew he was going to switch, because even if he didn't, he'd still take a Draco Meteor to the face. I don't even know if he saw this coming, but it's definitely going to hit him, and it's Specs, so that's going to hurt a lot. Yeah. It doesn't actually quite KO the Dusknoir. I'm not sure if I got minimum damage or something. But I know Dusknoir is actually pretty bulky, so, yeah. I stay in with the +2 just to make sure I kill the Dusknoir because I don't really want to have to switch out and then he uses Pain Split or something and I have gone back to square one. Well, not square one, but, you know. So I do take out the Dusknoir. And he sends back an Ambipom. And I go back into Registeel for the same reasons I went to Registeel the other time. And then he just U-turns out, as you should. Well, not as you should, but so he U-turns out. He then switches into a Zapdos, and Zapdoses usually carry Heat Wave. So I am aware of that. Oh, I'm talking ahead of the video, isn't that brilliant? And I switch back into Pert because if he's going to Thunderbolt, it won't do anything. If he's going to Heat Wave, it's not going to do much. And he actually does go for the Heat Wave. But unfortunately for him, he misses. I'm not sure whether that would have mattered. Probably the best benefit he could have got out of that was actually burning Pert, which I think he might have done because that's just like my luck and stuff. But I know he's going to switch, so on the switch I set up the rocks because that should kind of discourage him from sending Zapdos in again. And then he uses Toxic on me. I really did not see Toxic coming. I thought he'd just try and use Surf or Ice Beam. But yeah, I Roar. Luckily he gets roared out to Zapdos, which is probably like the worst thing that come out for him. Because the Zapdos is going to take a quarter damage from the Stealth Rock. And I am slowly taking poison damage, but not really. So he switches back out to Politoed. Because he doesn't want to risk getting hit with an Ice Beam. Which I actually do go for this turn. Because I'm getting sick of not going for it. And I just kind of want to end the Zapdos now. But he makes the smart play and does go out to Politoed, who takes absolutely nothing from the Ice Beam. And the poison damage is still going. Apparently this isn't 2 times, but I don't think it's quite that fast. I think it's like 1.5 times as fast as normal or something. But I'll have to look at that later. So anyway, I just roar out the Politoed, and he goes back out to Ambipom. And yeah, stuff happens. Because stuff is good. And then I switch back out and go into Link's Effect. And if you don't get that joke, like, search Link's Effect on YouTube and you will kind of soon get it. And he fake outs. I was kind of expecting a U-turn more than a fake out, but it kind of turns out he decided to fake out anyway. And then he withdraws it and goes into Zapdos again. And I Pain Split on the obvious switch. And even if he didn't switch, I'd probably still gain health from the Ambipom, but not much. So yeah, I know he's going to Roost here. Well, I think he's going to Roost here. So I had 2 options: either attempt to burn it or play a Pain Split, like, for more HP. I decided to go for the burn because I just wanted the collateral damage from the burn. But it turns out I'll miss anyway, which is kind of typical, but it doesn't really matter that much. So yeah, I think he thought I was going to go for an explosion or something, but I don't.